Hey everybody, it's 8 o'clock. So here we are for our Q&A, our live session. I'll sit here and wait for a few minutes and see if anybody gets on. I'm doing a little research on the computer right now, so we'll see if anybody gets on here. If not, then I'll just jump into the information stuff, okay? It's been an interesting day for me. I woke up this morning, I'm sure a lot of you saw the post where I had posted that I could no longer see anything on ketogenic success. And I don't know what happened. I knew that I got a message from one of the admins last week because I had posted a notice to one of the posts that they had in there. Oops, didn't mean to hit the sign. About our new group and how excited I was about it. And I got a notice saying that I couldn't post anything about the group because it was considered self-promotion. So I hadn't posted anything since then. But I don't anymore, had an automatic signature that popped up whenever I posted that said Sassy Keto Nurse. And one of the admins actually got back with me today and said that that was part of the reason that I got kicked off, because I continued to self-promote after I was warned. So make sure when you join groups that you read all the information and all the rules and everything. We don't have any rules here, except for that I do ask that if you post any recipes or any pictures of food, any recommendations for food, that it's something that you've tried, so that it's not just oh, this looks good. Make sure it's something that you've tried and that you can tell others about when you post. Some of the others are a little stricter, and I should have read closer and I should have been more careful. I have no hard feelings at all about being removed from the group. I'm hoping that I'll be able to get back on there soon, but if not, then that's my loss. What I do ask is that everybody that's on here, if you see good information on ketogenic success that you think that other people would want to know, that you think I would want to know, please share, because I can't see any of it anymore. I am still a member of Keto Evangelist Kitchen, so I get to see all the good recipes and all the questions and answers that they have on there. Just sitting around here waiting on some people to get on right now. My other news for the day is that as many of you know, I work at the jail on the weekends, and it's gotten hard here lately to work 7 days a week. I don't have any time for my family. In fact, I just came from the jail. I have just walked in the door like 5 minutes ago from working my shift today. And today I made a decision. I've been thinking about it for a couple of weeks, and the Lord moved this week, and I was offered a possible second case that I can work 1 day a week that's going to help me to stay financially in good shape, but not have to work 2 different jobs. So I turned my notice in at the jail today, and it's kind of a bittersweet thing. I enjoyed my job there. I enjoyed being a help to people that aren't always helped by others. So that's my news for the day. Just waiting to see if anybody else is going to get on here before I start doing any information. Hey, Candace. Honey, I've been praying about you all day. I don't have my glasses on. I was getting a glare on my glasses. How are you feeling this evening? I'm really upset that you're not feeling well. I hope you get to feeling better really soon. I'm going to do some stuff tonight in the live that part of my live tonight, part of the information that I worked on this week, is the healing properties of keto and what it can do for your body and your mind. We're going to delve into some of that. I've done a lot of research this week. I have a couple of friends who have some stuff going on that they've asked me, with this happening, can I do keto? Is it possible that I can do this program and not cause more harm than good? And I've reached out to other people and other ketonians that I have become acquainted with in the last few months. In fact, one of them is a doctor. He is incredible. He has his own YouTube channel too, and I talked to him yesterday about a friend of mine. And I'm looking forward to sharing some of this information. Other things I'm going to share tonight is meal prep, how important it is, and how to go about it, how to go about planning for your week with the stuff that we learned last week in the learning your TDE and BMR and setting up those numbers for your macros. We're going to expand on that tonight. And that'll probably cover about an hour by the time we go through the meal prep and the review of the macros and how to set that up for the week, and then go through the healing process that keto causes in the body and why. I'm not going to get real medical, and there's not going to be a lot of terminology that anybody needs to know. It's all going to be plain English, because that's what this is all about, is learning about this in plain English, although it is a very medical type of situation. It's amazing to me what I've learned in just the last couple of weeks studying on this. Since nobody else is on here so far, I'm going to open my laptop back up. Now, it does cause a glare a little bit on my glasses, so I ask y'all to just excuse the glare on my glasses, because I like to have my laptop open when we're doing Q&A sessions so that I can answer any questions that people have. If I don't already know, I jump on here and find out real quick. Y'all excuse me for drinking my Sprite Zero while we're going, but like I said, I just got home from... Well, hey, Deborah, how are you? I must be going a little slower than you are, Candace. Nice to see you, Deborah Johnson. What I was just telling Candace was tonight we're going to learn, we're going to expand on what we learned last week about macros and how to set up a weekly menu, how to figure out what will work best for you for the week, and then we're going to delve into the healing properties of keto and what I've learned this week. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Brittany Strickland, I see you. How are you doing? I'm not coming through. What's not coming through, honey? Am I going slow? I'm going to pull it up here on my computer so that I can see. Coming through? Am I not loud enough? All right, just to get started, I'm going to talk about meal planning. Meal planning is something that is extremely important in keto, mainly because once you've taken the time to figure your macros out, then you want to take the time to figure out what will fit into those macros for the week, so that you don't end up in the middle of the day one day and you're like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to have fixed for dinner tonight. What's going to fit into my macros for this week? How have I done today? I actually worked with somebody this week doing a meal plan and got all that straightened out for them. And I'm not going to say who it was, but I'm going to share how I did it, okay? Everybody is going to find different kinds of menus and recipes and different foods that they truly enjoy that are keto that other people may not like, okay? Somebody posted a recipe earlier this week on one of the regular Facebook pages that was Brussels sprouts. Now, I have never been one to eat Brussels sprouts, but since I went keto, I have found that Brussels sprouts are delicious if you just get the fresh ones. Now, I don't like the frozen, but the fresh ones, wash them good, cut them in half, and then fry them in bacon grease. My heavens, it is delicious. I fry them in bacon grease and plop a little cream cheese on them. Yummy. But you're going to find these recipes. What I recommend is that once you get the recipes together and you start finding different things that you like, write those down on an index card. Have you one of those little index card holders that you can stick those recipes into. Oh yeah, Parmesan cheese would be delicious on it. Get you a recipe book or a recipe holder. Make that into your keto recipe card holder and write those recipes down along with their macros. That way, when you start meal planning for the week, you can run through there and you can say, oh, okay, well, if I'm going to hit this much, then this is what I need. This is a hi, Sherry. Nice to see you. That way, you have your macros already figured up. And you can just go through and pick and choose the ones that you want for the week. You can do this daily if you want to. Now, I do it weekly just because of how busy we are in this household. We run constantly. Hey, Bree. For those of y'all that don't know, Brianna did her first live last night on Paparazzi. I was so proud of her. She did a great job. And y'all all jump over there. She's got an album sale going on right now. Take a look at it. My other friend, Brittany Green Strickland, she's my original paparazzi lady. And she has, let me tell you, I went from being somebody who don't wear makeup, don't wear jewelry, nothing else, and now I have an entire jewelry collection. You can't really see it back there, but I have a board back there completely full. I absolutely love it. Every woman needs to feel elegant. Even in scrubs. Even in my scrubs, I've got my little dangle earrings on, y'all. I'm telling you, through this journey, it's all about finding what makes you happy. All right, so I'm going to flip the camera here, I think. And I say I'm going to. I'm going to flip the camera and zoom in on this right here. This is a friend of mine that I helped this week. Now, I can't do this for everybody, so don't everybody go to calling me. But this person's just about as busy as I am. This is what we came up with for her. She gave me all of her information as far as what her height, her weight, her age was. I went in and figured up her TDE. And once I figured that up, you can see up here at the top, right up here, that I then figured out her carbs, her proteins, and her fat using those formulas that we used last week that I showed you on the wipe-off board. Now, I already have a lot of recipes in my little recipe book, and so what I did was just ran through those, and I wrote down options just to show her how to set up a week. This right here is one of the easiest things that you can do that will do the most for you. So for her breakfast, I put in my breakfast muffin and my BPC. Now for her protein is only 52.4, so my breakfast muffins may not be her best choice just because they're so high in protein. But what she could do is she could choose to just have half a breakfast muffin a day and a BPC for breakfast. That's going to hold her until way after lunch. Then for lunch, this is one of my favorite lunches, y'all, and this is what I gave her because for lunch a lot of times I'll do something very small so that I can do something yummy for dinner. Hi, Kara. This is celery with homemade ranch. Now, when I say homemade ranch, you do it with sour cream. And now you can use the ranch packets that you get at Walmart, but if you look on those are full of maltodextrin. And maltodextrin does have a lot of starches in it that will cause you to stall. For me, I have gone online and I got all the spices that were necessary to make ranch myself, and I put that in my sour cream and mix it up, and I fix one every week, and I have a tub of ranch dip. So this is celery with that ranch dip inside of it, and the roast beef that's listed is the boar's head roast beef from Ingles. Now I have them shave that at a 2, and I'll do
4 pieces of celery. This right here is listed as 2 pieces. Okay, this is 2. If you were to do 2 of them, these are the macros for it. I personally do 4. But you take your roast beef, you wrap it around that celery. It is absolutely delicious. You're going to have 2 teaspoons of the ranch inside your celery stick and a piece of roast beef. Delicious. Very filling. The fat from the roast beef and the ranch, that's plenty for anybody. And the celery, y'all, celery is what a lot of people used to term negative calorie food. Okay? Negative calorie foods. And the thing,
there's really no such thing as a negative calorie food. Everything has calories. Everything counts. But on keto, luckily, we don't rely a whole lot on calories. A lot of what we do is just based on our macros. So that list that I made, the other things that I had on there was the Italian roll-ups and beef and broccoli. The Italian roll-ups is literally just beef. I'm going to put the recipes up, but it's beef and sausage, and I use baby portobellos diced up with red onions diced up, and then cream cheese, butter. I mix all that up, and then I eat it in romaine lettuce leaves. Delicious. Very high calorie. Now, you saw on there, the calories for one of those is 342 calories, but I don't pay attention to calories. I try to make sure that I get between my BMR and TDE, but my biggest thing is making sure that I'm hitting that protein, staying pretty close to that protein. The other one I had on there was beef and broccoli. That's something that I've eaten from day one, and it's just a pound of ground beef, a block of cream cheese, seasonings to your liking, and then I put in a cup of fresh broccoli that I dice up, put it in there and let it start wilting down, let it steam itself with 2 tablespoons of Dale's seasoning. Now, I will tell you, Dale's seasoning is not keto friendly if you look on the thing. It's got a sweet taste to it, but it's got a great sodium content, and it's one of the things that I found that doesn't stall me. You're going to find things like that. On some of the other groups, they are very strict about only eating absolute keto foods. Now, I'm not. I do eat things that are outside of the keto realm every once in a while with seasonings and dressings and things like that, but I only do them if they don't stall me. I'm very careful about only trying a new thing a week, and if I stall, then I don't ever eat it again. Then those snacks that you saw, macadamia nuts. Macadamia nuts are awesome, but they're expensive. I like salted macadamias. You eat 1/4 cup of those, and you've got a huge fat count. It will just a 1/4 cup of macadamia nuts, y'all. If you are just, you know what hangry means. I'm sure we all do. They'll knock that right out because they've got such a huge fat content. String cheese. String cheese is another one. It's great. I usually try to carry 1 or 2 string cheeses in my cooler all the time. I carry a little lunch cooler with me everywhere I go. I have one in the car. I have one for work. And so I always have my heavy whipping cream. I always have a couple pieces of string cheese. I always carry butter because not everybody uses real butter, so I carry real butter. I use those little condiment cups that I showed y'all in the first info session, and I do my little portions out, and I keep those with me everywhere I go. And then boiled eggs. Now, you would think that boiled eggs would cause those GI issues that a lot of us have, and they don't anymore. Since I've gotten fat adapted, my body uses everything in that boiled egg, and I don't get the gas that normally you would get from boiled eggs. I don't get that. I haven't had any trouble with that at all. Now, I will post a picture of this list that I showed you, and I will post the recipes that are included in it. What I advise is that once a week, or every day if that's what you want to do, you sit down and you meal plan. It's super important. It helps you to stay on track and to know where you're going and what you're doing. Okay? Now, the next thing that we're going to talk about, we're already 20 minutes in. I have just gone on and on, haven't I? The next thing I'm going to go into, and I was hoping that my friend Levi was going to be on here. And what I may do is just send her a message while we're sitting here, y'all, and see if I can get her on here, because I want her to hear this information. If not, I can always just tag her and have her come back on here later. All right, so the healing properties of keto. Keto is not a cleanse. A lot of people look at it that way in the beginning, that it cleanses your body, but it's not a cleanse. It's a healing. It literally changes everything about your body and how it responds to different things. What I have learned more than anything this week is that with keto, our bodies were naturally made to be keto. This is, it is a better fuel. Fat, our bodies are built for fat as fuel instead of sugar. But if we look back to the beginning of time, a lot of people that are paleo will tell you this. The paleo diet is based on, caveman eating. How did the caveman eat? And the truth is keto is pretty close to that, except for we add a lot of fat. You have to think back to when all they could eat was what they could catch. Okay? And so in the wintertime, late fall, wintertime, there wasn't a lot to catch. And there was no grains, there was no sugar. Nowadays, everything is about sugar and MSG. Well, there was none of that back then. And their bodies ran perfectly fine. Nowadays, we all want to be told, everybody wants to tell us how fat's going to give you cholesterol problems. Fat's going to give you a heart attack. Well, that was the belief in the medical community for a very long time. But we have discovered in the last few years, and there's so many reports out there about it, is that our bodies were actually made to run on fat. It is a much more efficient fuel for our bodies. The mitochondria in our cells, and I know here I go getting all using medical terminology, but the mitochondria in your cells, in every cell of your body, are the energy factories of your body. They produce what is called ATP, which is the energy that our body runs on. It is what our basic metabolism runs on. That basal metabolic rate, that BMR that we're looking for, that's if you just wake up and breathe, y'all. Your body has to have fuel to run itself and to keep everything going. So our cells contain these mitochondria. When the blood brings in all these different things, whether it be sugar, it be fat, or whatever it is, the mitochondria use that to flip it and turn it into fuel. All right, when we use sugar, okay, with sugar, I'm trying to find where I wrote it down. With sugar, glucose in our bodies, it takes 11 steps inside the cell for the mitochondria to take glucose and turn it into ATP, which is the energy we need. However, the mitochondria can take ketones, which our body has produced by metabolizing fat in our liver, and those ketones are produced, they go in, and it only takes 3 steps. 3 versus 11. So those cells and those mitochondria, it makes it so much easier for them to do their job and to produce that energy and to keep your metabolism running. Now, when I say metabolism, I'm not talking about weight loss. I'm talking about everyday living and breathing. I'm talking about hair growth, new skin, your teeth, your eyes being able to see your gut health. That's the next thing I want to talk about in the healing process is gut health. And this, Candace, I thought of you today when I was researching this and reading these articles. What keto can do for gut health? We all have crazy amounts, millions of bacteria in our colon, our stomach, and our small intestine. Now, for those of us who eat keto, our bodies have adapted, and a lot of that bacteria is now keto bacteria. It is fat adapted just like we are. But normally, anyone on the SAD diet, so sad, y'all. Sick and tired. I know, SAD doesn't spell S-A-T, but I'm telling you, SAD, the standard American diet, high carbohydrates, sugar, everything turns into glucose. Those bacteria in your stomach, your large intestine, and your small intestine, they thrive on that sugar. They multiply. And people with IBS, with colonic issues, with, I'm trying to think of other stomach issues that people have. Well, that's okay. Tell Mason I love him. Play with him for me too. I'll see you later. Those problems, Crohn's disease, that was the one I was trying to think of. Crohn's disease. Those bacteria in your stomach thrive on sugar. And when you don't give it the sugar, okay, they starve. And the truth is if you don't give them sugar long enough, if you're on keto and you flip over and you quit taking in that sugar and those carbohydrates into your body, then what happens is those bacteria starve out and they are vanquished. They are removed from your body through waste, whether it be urine or otherwise. Now, it takes a few days to weeks, depending on the person and depending on how severe your issues are. But they starve out and they're replaced by these good bacteria. You hear about probiotics and all these kind of things. Probiotics actually feed those carbohydrate bacteria, those sugar bacteria. And when you feel hunger, like the first week or so that you do keto, you will feel hunger, because what happens is you're not giving that bacteria the sugar that it wants, and it's saying, hey, what's going on here? I ain't got nothing to eat. I ain't got nothing to multiply. I need some food. You need to send me some sugar. And what happens is you get hungry. It sends all these chemicals up to your brain that says, hey, get us some sugar in here. We've got things to do. Well, the thing is that we don't want it doing the things that it's doing, because that bacteria, that gut bacteria, it causes inflammation. Inflammation throughout the body, not just in the gut. But if you think about it, think back to when you were eating those high carb meals. If you sat down and you had a hamburger and french fries, and then you had a dessert afterwards, or you had a big old thing of ice cream, and a lot of people are lactose intolerant. Lactose is a sugar, comes from milk. It's those gut bacteria, y'all, because they get inflamed, they swell up, they cause inflammation in the cells of the body, and you get the swelling in your fingers, that tingling in your fingers. You get problems with your eyesight. You get problems with your ears and hearing. You get brain fog. Think about Thanksgiving dinner. Thanksgiving dinner is a perfect example, because you have that tryptophan from the turkey, and then all those carbs from the stuffing and the potatoes and all those goodies. And your body you'll eat a big meal and then you're tired afterwards. You just want to take a nap. Well, when you go on keto and you remove the sugar and you get those bad bacteria out of your stomach, large intestine, and small intestine, and you replace it with this good bacteria that thrives on fat, well then, not only do you reduce the inflammation in your body,
but you reduce the stress on the mitochondria in every single cell of your body. So those mitochondria aren't having to work 10 times harder to go through those 11 processes to turn glucose into ATP. They're only having to do 3 things to turn fat into ATP. And so all of a sudden, on keto, within weeks, I'm not lying, I'm not exaggerating, within weeks, yes, I still have to wear glasses, but not near as much as I used to. I have to wear it for this thing because this is really small and I can't see it. But I don't wear my glasses half as much anymore. My skin's cleared up because my skin is regenerating more often. My stomach, y'all, I don't get heartburn anymore like I used to. I used to keep heartburn all the time, and I used to feel so bloated. Well, all that inflammation's gone. I don't have the swelling in my feet. I don't have the swelling in my fingers. I just feel 100% better, and it's all due to keto and those mitochondria not having to work so hard, so I'm not getting all the inflammation. Now, I'm going to pop over here because I did some research this week, and I found an article that listed several things that keto could help. Now, I knew in the beginning that keto was very helpful to children with seizure disorders and with traumatic brain injuries, because that is what I do for a living. I deal with pediatrics, and the patients that I have been with have been victims of traumatic brain injuries, or they have seizure disorders due to chromosomal disorders. And keto has been proven to lower the frequency of seizures and seizure activity, as well as to enhance brain activity in those that have traumatic brain injuries. I knew that going in, but looking through the information this week and reading these articles, it is amazing to me some of the other things that it helps. Multiple sclerosis. I read in that article that multiple sclerosis is affected greatly. One of the ladies that had wrote into the doctor that wrote the article had told him that she had gone from being wheelchair bound due to her multiple sclerosis, and within 6 months of eating a ketogenic diet, she is up and active. She has now been out of her wheelchair for over 3 years. She walks with her kids. She goes and does social events. She goes and plays softball with her kids. That is an amazing story. Migraines. Y'all, I had migraines. And we all know about the little, you get this little thing pierced. I know friends of mine that's had it done. Part of the reason that works is because of how it works on the nerves. The nerves that run through your ears here. When you get those pierced, it has an effect that helps to control migraines. Well, with keto, what causes migraines, y'all? Inflammation. Inflammation is what causes migraines, whether it be due to dehydration. Dehydration is a big thing. Seasonal allergies, stress, or stress on the body. Okay, so with keto, you relieve that stress on the body. You get rid of some of that inflammation. I'm not going to say your migraines are going to go completely away. I've been keto now for 7 months, and I was having migraines probably once a week, debilitating migraines maybe once a month before I started keto. And since I've been on keto, I've only had one that really was bad enough that I took a day off work and stayed home in bed. And that was partly my fault too, because I had allowed myself to get dehydrated. Water is an essential thing in any diet, but on the keto diet, it is super important. You have to make sure that you are getting enough water so that your body can operate the way it needs to, so that your bloodstream can transport all the different minerals and vitamins and all that good stuff that you're eating and you're bringing in to the cells, so that the cells can then do their job and keep you running like you're supposed to. Here was the one that surprised me. Now, I know that my mood has definitely stabilized, and I attributed that to my hormones stabilizing because of the keto diet. What I didn't think about was autism, bipolar disorder, MDD, these severe emotional problems and cognitive issues that I would have never thought that eating a ketogenic way could change. But in this article, it is proven that children placed on a ketogenic way of eating that have autism are shown to have improvement. Now, I'm not going to say drastic improvement, because the articles that I've read so far did not show anything drastic, and children on the lower end of the spectrum were the ones that showed the most progress, but there was progress. With MDD, that it's amazing the progress that they have found. Bipolar disease, now the bipolar numbers that they showed, they did a 20/40 blind study. They had 20 that they had on a regular standard American diet, and they had 40 people with bipolar disease that they put on a ketogenic diet. And out of the 40 people that were on it, 28 reported incredible changes. They did not have as many mood swings. They did not have the as big an instance of the flights of terror. That is something significant to consider. Acne. I've talked about my skin a lot in these, because I've just been amazed at how much my skin has cleared up and how my wrinkles are starting to go away. I was starting to get some pretty good wrinkles up in here and some pretty good crow's feet and big bags under my eyes. I was plumb blue under my eyes for the longest, and my smile lines and my frown lines around through here, I was getting some pretty good ones. Well, with keto, they're clearing up. Well, when I started looking into this, the biggest thing that it talked about was acne and wound healing. Acne. Because what is acne? It's just when the skin does not regenerate, those cells, those skin cells, the epidermis, does not regenerate, after having bacteria in the pores. Because acne, those pimples, are caused by bacteria and dirt getting down in the pores and getting trapped, causing inflammation, causing the bumps. Well, with keto, your skin replenishes and heals and regenerates so much faster that acne starts to clear up. I have truly noticed that throughout my journey. The wound healing was super important to me, because when you have wounds, I had always known as a nurse that protein helped wound healing more than anything. That we always tried to up the protein in their diet, make sure they're getting plenty of protein shakes and this kind of thing, because I worked in geriatrics for a while. And I knew that that could help. But with keto, you take that sugar out of the equation, and your body can then centralize on healing those areas. It pulls the protein that you're eating, and it's able to use it more efficiently to go in and heal these wounds, to clot. Because keto, what do we do with keto? What are we trying to do? We're getting fat adapted. What helps in healing more than anything? Fat soluble vitamins. A, D, E, and K. Okay? A, D, E, and K. Fat soluble vitamins. Those fat soluble vitamins work much better in your body when you are fat adapted, because your body is efficiently using that fat and is able to take those vitamins and minerals that you're bringing in through food and able to use it to efficiently heal any wounds that you may have. Now, fatty liver was something that I studied this week, and a friend of mine was asking how it could heal fatty liver. Where I'm going to go with that is, there's an incredible group of videos on Dr. Ken, what is his last name, y'all? Ken, oh, I feel terrible. You have fatty liver, Candace. Well, keto can heal it.
And on the page, on the group, I know where I had it at. I'm on here looking on my computer. I'm like, Dad, blame it. Where is it? Sherry, you've got fatty liver too. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited now. Dr. Ken D. Berry. Okay? He's got a YouTube channel, Ken D. Berry MD. I'm going to make sure that I put that on there too, because he has an entire playlist of videos explaining how keto can heal a fatty liver, how it can help the liver to regenerate, because y'all know now that the liver is one of the only organs in the body that can regenerate. That's the reason that we can do live donations of the liver, and you can donate a portion of your liver to another person and it will regenerate and grow. Well, in the body, if we feed that liver what it really needs, then it can regenerate, it can heal. Our liver is what produces bile. Bile is what breaks down fat. Okay, if you've got a liver that's not working the way it ought to, you have fatty liver, what's happening is your body is not working through and doing what it needs to do with fat, because it's dealing with sugars. Sugars can cause the liver not only to block up, but it can block the bile ducts. It can cause the bile ducts in the liver to, in essence, stop working and stop producing bile, which then causes horrible problems in the body. Increased blood glucose can impede healing because the cell walls become rigid. That's kind of what happens in the liver. It's the liver, the walls, the cells in the liver, they get, hi Leah, how are you? Nice to see you tonight. When the liver when you have that fatty liver, then you're not able to produce the bile that your body needs to do what it needs to do with fat, because the liver is processing too much sugar. Okay? So we get rid of the sugar, we start giving our bodies more fat, moderate protein, and then the liver can start to heal itself. Fatty liver can be overcome. I want everybody on here, Sherry, Candace, anybody else that has fatty liver, I want y'all to go over to YouTube. I want you to watch those videos that Mr. Ken D. Berry, he's a doctor in Nashville, Tennessee. Super great guy, very down to earth. He and his wife do stuff on Facebook as well. And they are... You have this issue too, Leah. Wow, this is a big thing. He has a practice there. He's a family doctor. And he has incredible videos. Well, thank you, Sherry. I try to explain things as simple as possible. Now, I am going to announce one more time what's happened with me. I had a bad day. I've talked to several of you about it today through Messenger. I got kicked off of Keto Success, guys. I've been kicked out. It's my fault. It was my fault. I didn't think I had done anything wrong, but I did. I had an automatic signature on all my posts, and I'm sure that y'all were seeing it when I was posting before, and it would say Sassy Keto Nurse at the end of every post. And I had been called out last week because I had mentioned this group on the other group, and they told me I couldn't do that no more. And so I told them, I said, oh, I won't do that no more. But where that automatic signature was popping up on my post, I got busted for self-promotion. So I cannot get on Ketogenic Success anymore. So I need you guys that are members of Ketogenic Success, when there's some interest and information on there and you find out good stuff, please share, because I can't see it anymore.
And that was one of my favorite groups. There's such good information on there. But like I said at the beginning of this video, you have to read all the rules, okay? Some are stricter than others. We don't have a whole lot of rules here. The only rule I have is if you're going to post a recipe or a food item on this site, I ask that it's something that you've tried so that you can tell people about it if they ask. And the other thing that I announced to everybody else was that I turned in my notice at the jail today. I've decided that I'm going to leave the jail and spend some more time with my family and maybe pick up another case with my pediatric nursing. Now, brain clarity, we're talking about healing tonight, y'all. We're talking about how the ketogenic diet heals the body and what it does for us. Brain clarity is probably the best thing that has happened to me since I went on keto. Not just the weight loss. The weight loss is great, but the weight loss is a side effect, okay? Keto is more about the healing and helping your body to do what it was meant to do than the weight loss. The weight loss is just a side effect. The weight loss is our bodies getting back to where they need to be. They self-regulate. And I have a lot of people ask, well, when you reach your goal, what do you do? Well, your body knows. Your body knows, and it's going to regulate. You're going to have stalls, and you're going to have ups and downs. And this is not a marathon, or this is not a sprint, y'all. This is a marathon. It's something you stick with. And I promise you, you are going to see all these benefits manifest themselves as you continue into this lifestyle and you get more and more adept at sensing what's going on in your own body. One of the best things you can do to heal the cell membranes in your body is to take in good fats, omega-3 fats. I am not a big fish eater, but I have started trying at least twice a week to eat some sort of fatty fish, whether it be tuna or salmon or whatever. Salmon. I know I said that wrong. Excuse me. I'm Southern. But I try to eat some kind of fish because I would rather get all of my supplements, all of my vitamins, all of my minerals from food sources. I want to get to a place where I no longer take a pill for anything. Okay? I don't want to take a pill. When I have a headache nowadays, I hate fish too, Candace. I do. I hate it. And I said it in my very first video, don't eat nothing you hate. But I'm trying to get omega-3s in, and I'm doing a lot of research on other ways to get my omega-3s. Fatty fish is just one of the best ways to get them. I do eat a lot of leafy greens and dark greens. Did you really? Grilled catfish. I have to say it doesn't sound very good. But I could be wrong, and everybody's tastes are different, so, oh goodness. So we talked about that. Oh, this was the other thing. That doctor that I was telling you about, the article that I had read about the wound healing, it was written by Dr. Myhill. And a quote from it, he says that at least 25% of the brain and heart work more efficiently on ketones. Hi, Melissa. Nice to see you. Because those cells, those mitochondria, work more efficiently, and you get a 25% better efficiency in your brain and heart from fueling your body with ketones. This is a big deal, y'all, because your brain, just the brain. Now, you've got to figure your brain is the size of your fist, okay? Size of your fist. Compared to the rest of your body, great name, I love that name. But your brain uses 20% of your body's energy because your brain is what controls absolutely everything. It is amazing to think that a little organ the size of your fist is what controls absolutely everything that goes on in your body. Well, if you can improve the efficiency of that brain by 25% just by eating keto, who wouldn't do it?
It would be crazy not to, right? As a nurse who, praise Jesus, is trying to get back into school right now. Y'all, I don't know. I'm getting too old for school. But I want to get my bachelor's degree. So I'm going to go back to school again. This is like one of my biggest wins. Because when I was in school 7 years ago, one of my biggest problems was sitting down and concentrating and being able to remember and being able to maintain and hold on to that information, retain it. Because there were some days that I would leave school and have sat through 2 or 3 lectures and be sitting in my car and think, what in the world did I just listen to? Because I couldn't remember nothing. I spent every waking hour while I was in nursing school in a book, on the computer, or re-listening to my lectures, because I recorded every lecture on a voice recorder because I knew that I wouldn't retain it. Now, exact opposite, y'all. I can get on the computer and study about these things and it stays with me. Now, I say that 10 minutes after I just forgot Dr. Barry's name, but names are not my thing. The reason that you get this brain clarity, number one, we're helping those cells. We're cutting down on the processes they have to go through. So no longer do they have to go through 11 processes to process glucose into ATP. They only go through 3. Now, when we increase that ATP concentration in our body, that energy concentration, and it's a better ATP, it's a more efficient energy, then what happens is the hippocampus in our brain, there where I go with the terminology again, but the hippocampus in your brain is what determines memory, learning, and emotion. Memory, learning, and emotion. Do y'all see where I'm going with this? Memory, keto, dementia, Alzheimer's. Those are 2 of our nation's biggest killers, y'all. We're losing our families to dementia and Alzheimer's. They may be sitting in the same room with you and not be there. I have seen it. I have treated it. I have spent 20 years of my life working in geriatrics before I started working in the hospital and then got into pediatrics, which I've done for the last 2.5 years. It is probably one of the things that hurts my heart the most, is to see a family come in to visit their mama and her not have a clue who they are. Dementia is horrible. It can be helped. Halt the progression with keto. Help the brain by helping the mitochondria to make that ATP, that concentrated ATP, which will in turn help the hippocampus mitochondria to retain more information, hold on to it, to be able to learn more, and to be able to control emotions. I have been in the process all week, and y'all know I have not released it yet. I am working on the YouTube channel. I will release that this week at some point, I promise. I'm not going to promise there's going to be a whole lot of videos on there, because what I found very challenging is to record videos on my phone. I'm very busy. I have a family that is extremely busy, and every time I start recording videos, somebody either calls me, texts me, or something, and it pops up. So I've really kind of having to resort to recording my videos for YouTube late at night when everybody else has gone to bed, so that nobody's interrupting me. But I'm going to get that YouTube channel out. But this week, I could have become so frustrated and so aggravated, which is what I used to be. Candace, I am so right there with you. I've been out of school for 7 years. And the truth is that I remember, but
I remind myself a whole lot too, because I study. I still have all my books, and when I have anything come up, I'm in the books again. But the emotional side, which is what I was getting at with my little rant there, I could have become so frustrated this week. And 6 months ago, 7 months ago, I would have gotten frustrated with it and said, to heck with it, I'm not doing it. I am tired of this. This is too aggravating. It's too much to do. And instead, yes, ma'am, girl, making notes as we go. Excuse me. But instead, I was able to handle it. Now, I have not told a part of my story, and this is going to be very hard for me. It's going to be in my story on the YouTube channel, but a lot of you locals, several of y'all don't know me, but have become my friend on Facebook here lately. I talk about how this heals. Well, I want to tell my story of how it healed me, and when I first realized how much keto had healed me. The last 5 months of my life have been trying. Right before I started keto, my first grandson was born. Beautiful, wonderful, perfect little boy. And he was one of the reasons that I started keto, because I wanted to be a better person. I wanted to be here, and I wanted to be healthy for him, for my kids. I wanted to be here when he got big. I wanted to be able to play with him. And y'all, anybody that went to school with me, anybody that knows me now, knows that I used to be a very emotional, I say sassy, but it's probably not the appropriate word. I was a hair trigger. I truly was. I lost my temper at the drop of a hat. I was super, I don't know how to put it, I guess aggressive. And a lot of people would point that out to me, and I'd be like, no, I'm not. I'm not aggressive. What are you talking about? Well, I was. And I look back, and I owe a lot of people apologies because of the way I behaved. But my other thing was my depression. Y'all, anything in the world could set me off and put me in bed for days. And when I say days, I mean 2-3 days at a time. I would lay out of work to lay in bed and do nothing. And when I say nothing, I mean absolutely nothing. I didn't wash clothes. I didn't clean house. I didn't cook dinner. I would send one of my older kids to town to get supper because I wasn't getting out of bed. And I let anything in the world affect me like that. My emotions were all over the place. I honestly thought for a while, and so did my kids, that I was bipolar, because 1 minute I'd be the happiest, craziest mom in the world, and 5 minutes later I was either jumping all over them and barking orders, or I was crying like a baby and off to my room, to my hole, to go to bed and lay in here and whine and just grovel, I guess. Well, in October, we lost my grandson. He passed away at 4 months old. We're still not real sure. They really haven't been able to tell us exactly what happened to him. And for me, that has been extremely hard, because this is what I do. This is what I do for a living. I felt like I should have seen it. But I say that to say this. If it had not been for the keto and what it had done for me, how it had changed my brain chemistry and how I process emotions, if it had not balanced my hormones, I don't know that I would have gotten through the month of October without having a complete breakdown. We got through October. We buried my grandson first week of November. And 3 weeks later, I almost lost my youngest daughter. Came very close to losing my youngest daughter. And so there we were in the hospitals again. And if it had been the Melissa of 7 months ago, that would have been it. I probably would have been done. I would have probably been locked up in a rubber room, given medication every day, and I probably would have fell apart. That would have probably been a total breakdown for me, because my children are my entire life. But because of that balance and that clarity and that ability to process emotion and process my thoughts, I was able to get through each day. And I was able to start my day out and say, okay, here's what I'm going to do. Here's how this day's going to go. Now, granted, they're not always going to go how you plan them. But now, I'm in control. Now, I feel control over my emotions. I feel control over how I react. I'm not a hair trigger anymore. I'm able to take a second and to think about things because I have that brain clarity that keto has provided. Now, I really appreciate everybody being on here tonight, and I know that's probably not what y'all expected to hear from me tonight, but I needed to get it off my chest. And when we were talking about the healing that keto causes, and by golly, that's probably one of the best things it's done for me, is get me through these last 5 months. I will be posting these the meal planning that we did at the beginning of the video, along with the recipes. I will post the links for Dr. Ken D. Berry. And if there's anything that y'all have heard tonight, or things that you need to hear, things that you need to learn about, post them in the post. Y'all quit private messaging me and put them in the post. We have so many people on here that are going through the same thing you are. So get on there, post your questions, post your comments. You're going to get brain clarity. You are, Candace, you are, through keto. And I know that right now your doctor's not going to let you start it because of what's going on. But once you're able to get started, I promise you, keto is going to help. And all y'all with fatty liver, Ken Berry, make sure you watch those videos. It is amazing what keto can do for a fatty liver. It has been great seeing everybody here tonight. I know we didn't have many on, but I will get the YouTube channel up and going this week. I hope to see a lot more of you posting, commenting, and please share information that y'all learn on those other groups, because I messed up. Again, I'm human. Sassy Keto Nurse signing off, guys. Good night.